Lawyers, what's the most ruthless thing that happened at a will reading? I was 24 when my grandmother died, leaving behind a fortune built from 3 decades of real estate investments. The family gathered in Attorney Caldwell's mahogany-paneled office, dressed in black, already mentally spending their inheritance. My uncle kept checking his phone, probably browsing boats. My aunt had been renovating her kitchen for months, waiting for this money to finish it. I sat in the back corner, the only grandchild who'd bothered visiting Grandma weekly for the last 5 years. The rest of the family showed up twice a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving, armed with forced smiles and expensive wine they knew she liked. Attorney Caldwell cleared his throat and began reading. The air felt thick with anticipation, standard legal jargon about sound mind and testamentary capacity. Then came the bequests. To my daughter Patricia, I leave my collection of china plates, as she always admired them during her brief visits. My mom's face fell, 40 years as a daughter, reduced to dishes. To my son Gregory, I leave my gardening tools, since he frequently mentioned how beautiful my yard looked. My uncle's jaw clenched. He'd been expecting the beach house. To my daughter-in-law Vivian, I leave my recipe books, which she often complimented but never actually used. My aunt's expression went cold. The lawyer continued through similar items for other relatives. My cousin got a set of bookends. Another cousin received a lamp. Distant relatives got increasingly petty items: a stapler, a doormat, a half-empty bottle of perfume. Then Caldwell paused, adjusted his reading glasses, and his tone shifted. The remainder of my estate, including all properties, investments, bank accounts, and personal assets, totaling approximately $7 million, I leave entirely to my granddaughter, with one condition. Every head in the room turned toward me. I couldn't breathe. She must read aloud the accompanying letters I've written to each family member before she can accept the inheritance. These letters contain information I gathered over the past 5 years about how each of you truly feels about me and each other. Attorney Caldwell pulled out a thick manila envelope. Inside were sealed letters, each labeled with a family member's name. My mom stood up. "This is ridiculous." She was senile. "Mrs. Patterson," Caldwell said calmly, "your mother underwent a full psychiatric evaluation 2 months before her death. She was thoroughly competent. The will is ironclad." My uncle's face had gone purple. "What kind of sick game is this?" "The letters must be read within the next 10 minutes, Caldwell continued, "or the entire estate goes to charity. The choice is yours." He handed me the envelope. My hands shook as I pulled out the first letter, addressed to my uncle. Through the translucent paper, I could see Grandma's handwriting. Years of Sunday dinners where he'd complained about her to his wife, thinking she couldn't hear from the kitchen. Conversations about moving her to a nursing home to free up her house for sale. Text messages I'd glimpsed on his phone about her being a burden. "Well?" my uncle demanded. "Read it or refuse the money. Either way, let's get this over with." I looked around the room at faces I'd known my whole life. My grandmother had been many things, but she'd never been cruel without reason. Whatever was in these letters, she'd wanted it exposed. She'd spent 5 years collecting evidence of something. I broke the seal on my uncle's letter, and the first line made my stomach drop. "Gregory, I know what you did to your brother." My uncle went pale. "Don't." But I kept reading. "I know about the business loan you forged his signature on. I know about the investment fund you emptied. I know he didn't abandon his family. You drove him away by stealing everything he'd built, then convinced everyone, including his children, that he'd chosen to disappear." The room erupted. My mom screamed that it was a lie. My aunt started crying. I stood frozen, my father's face appearing in my mind for the first time in 15 years. And there were still 7 more letters to read. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below.